Welcome to Rasta's Realities, a channel for logics, intellects, and those seeking solutions. I am your host, Rasta Kilbomani, and my reality is your reality. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment down below if anything speaks to you. Let's go. Welcome back to another video here on Rasta's Realities. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment your thoughts as you are an integral part of the channel. Who you fighting for? Right from the start, the answer might be obvious. No doubt, I fight for both of my boys. I fight their brainwashed moms and grands, their friends, both male and female. I fight the system, the county, and the state. I even fight them, my boys, as they know not what they do, or at least until nature kicks them in the teeth from bad choices. Self-proclamation, I fought myself to not be the typical dad and or father, and have succeeded thus far. Despite who I fight, it has to be for the right, because it is all that I have left. Now, I'm not stating that I don't have any remaining family members, but the ones that are still in the land of the living might as well be dead, because they travel around the city of Chicago and will ride right past where I am, and not so much as send a text, flare gun, or carrier pigeon that they are around, and would like to at least see me, or even if the meeting is brief. Yet these same folk will pay lip service to the remaining generation about taking the helm to reconnect broken family branches via planning reunions and family functions, as my granny once did. Once she died, so did the family glue. So I cannot definitively say that I'm fighting for them, even though my efforts they will benefit from without knowledge of that fact. When I state that I'm fighting for my boys, here's what I mean in a more in-depth explanation. Despite my son's lack of accountability, etc., that they did not learn from me, I have shown and told them both that the safety net that I provide comes with them putting forth effort to be much better than me. Not to limit themselves to one or two things as far as the career or professional choices that they may make. I'm not gonna lie. There have been times where I just didn't have the fight to engage with them while they were going through whatever they were going through, as all my mental and physical energy was depleted fighting all of the aforementioned, including my own battles. For the most part, fighting for my boys entailed having to ignore some things that they chose to take part in, as it is a part of life that without bad choices and mistakes alike is nature, and nature isn't to be challenged, because it would be a practice in futility and would be the equivalent of ice skating uphill. It also entails seeing myself and those boys in a manner that isn't flattering by any imagination. Which goes into my next point. I wasn't a bad child, teen, young adult, and of course I did questionable things that were uncharacteristic. All I know is, before and while I was doing them, my logic wasn't intact. And it wasn't until the bill came for said actions that I gave some deep thought to why in the hell did I just do that in my self-sabotage days. Yes, kids do what kids do. But my issue is, and always will be, why repeat the same detrimental choices consciously when you have a father that lived through so much that should have killed him and not heed any and everything that he warns you against? In addition to the fact he has 43 years of the good, the bad, and the ugly that shows through my works. It's stupidity that's unnecessary and shows foolishness to the 10th degree. What makes things worse is that both of my children's moms did nothing to support the only way to raise a Chicago male. And whether it was someone in their family talking in their ears, or their lack of support from these same folk, and or ignorance that comes with parenting, it did not help both of my children. It harmed them as boys or as men, young men. Since this society teaches the females that they don't need a man in the household, which by the way is a lie, by providing many nipples for the ladies to suck on via student loans that leads to debt, housing that leads to complacency via Section 8, which is a term for crazy and homosexual cadets in the military who are discharged. Belief without proof, and like my mentor Matthew Howard would always say, shout out to my Walmart peeps, trust but verify. Anything that's provided to them, the system says things like, it's free, and they believe it. That most certainly doesn't help the family construct and the community. It creates a generational repeat of losers blaming each other. There's a cost for everything. I guess the system left that part out of the curriculum. As I close this talk, many times I have lost what's deemed as hope for myself. And though I've made tremendous strides within this life of mine, the thing that nags at me during my times of duress is the look on their faces that I imagine they would display, and the mental ridicule they will face if their father was to succumb to a defeatist mindset. I once had to check one of my boys because of a lyric that he said, and I quote, "Fuck my pops," as if to suggest that I wasn't a stand-up guy and or he was abandoned, or they were abandoned. I have and still do loads for them, both, to tolerate disrespect. That was the effective brainwashing brought on by their bitter mom. Overmothered and underfathered males do and say things like that, even if it's proven that the child was brought up properly. Being one who was ridiculed for my skin color and athletic ability, and something I would never ever forget, my aunt's mustache. She once came up to Alexander Dumas on Ellis to pick me up on a Friday, and she was ridiculed because she had a mustache. And yeah, we watch Martin and see his mother and see him playing his mother and with the mustache. That's what my aunt really looked like. She possessed a shaver and things of that nature, but despite all of that, she did so much for me. She was an integral part in my upbringing. So to fight for her then and now isn't anything. I would fight against hordes to protect her name. She fought for me by not allowing me to self-destruct. I will do the same and more for these boys of ours. I will not be ridiculed and or intimidated by any system and or person when I'm on the side that's right. To the end, I fight to retain what's left with every muscle fiber and with every breath. Lame and legit, that's making it the best. Soaring in highs and mind bending lows. I will remain positive in order to live, not just exist, but persist that success for my nestlings and to strive for the best things. Thank you for tuning in and sharing to like while commenting your subscription. If you cannot tip jar, at least support with a like and or share. Become a part of the Naughty Notification Nation by moving that notify bell to all to remain up to date when I go live. Check the channel at your convenience and often for new vid drops. I am Rasta Akil Bomani signing off until next time. Peace to you.